Hi guys, my name's Emily, and today I'm going to be talking about Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. So if you watch my monthly wrap-up, you'll know that I liked Carry On. This, unfortunately, will be a somewhat spoilery discussion, so if you haven't finished the book, and you don't want to be spoiled, you'll have to come back once you've finished it. So just quick reminder, in Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, there is a series that has the same kind of level of fandom as the Harry Potter series in our reality. And the girl in Fangirl, Kath, is writing fan fiction about Baz and Simon. Now, Carry On is Rainbow Rowell picking up on this fictional series and writing her own. Well, it is her own, but she's writing the series for us for reals. This is the story of Baz and Simon Snow is, of course, the Harry Potter-ish type figure. He's the supposed chosen one. And then we have Baz, who's kind of the Draco Malfoy character. Simon and Baz are roommates, and there's some sexual tension there, and that is fantastic. I love that aspect of this series, that there's some queerness in it, because the Harry Potter series is definitely lacking in queerness. A lot of the YA fantasy series I have read are lacking in queerness. If you have read a YA fantasy series involving queer characters, leave it in the comments below, because I feel like we don't see enough of that. What I liked about Carry On is how it subverted the fantasy ending. Fantasy as a genre stems from the fairy tale genre, and in the fairy tale genre, everything, well, not everything, but oftentimes things end in a very happy way. That is something that gets carried forward into fantasy, and a lot of the popular fantasy series that I can think of do end quite happily. Harry Potter ends happily. We know even beyond his happily ever after with the epilogue. The Lord of the Rings ends happily. There's that whole scene where they come home. The Hobbit ends happily. Twilight ends happily. The Hunger Games ends happily. Iona ends happily. Like, I can think of one exception where it doesn't end happily, but nobody likes that book. In fantasy, there's like a chosen figure, and the chosen figure triumphs. You know the chosen figure will triumph. And in Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, that does not happen. And I really liked that at the end of the series, that Simon Snow is not the chosen one, really. He is the problem, in fact, and he loses his magic, and he's just a normal guy moving into a flat with his best friend, and yes, he's dating Baz, but like they're not living together, we don't know if they get married. It's a very mundane conclusion, and I liked that, because fantasy novels set certain expectations for how a book will work and how things will end. It was nice to see the unexpected ending. The other thing I really liked about this book is the magic system. The power of spells comes from the power of words and how these words are being used in everyday language, and so making a spell based on a pop song is probably not a good idea because pop songs have a very short shelf life, whereas taking a famous phrase from a movie, like a classic movie, is likely to have more power because people are going to keep saying this over and over again. That's how they explain, like, the interest that mundanes have in Shakespeare. The wizards, I guess, pushed for people to have an interest in Shakespeare because they didn't want to give up their old spells based on Shakespearean language. So I thought that was kind of cool. This book felt like a fan service more than a piece of writing just standing on its own, and I feel like she could have maybe done a couple of books with Simon and Baz and the Adventures of Simon and Baz, and maybe not have had it been quite so Harry Potter-y. Like, I think it combines a lot of popular YA books. Like, I definitely think there's a bit of Twilight in here. There's a bit of Harry Potter 100%. I liked the Simon-Baz relationship enough to want a little more of it, and I liked the magic world enough to want a little more of it. Anyway, so those are my thoughts on Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. That's why I really liked it. So let me know in the comments below if you have read Carry On, if you plan on reading Carry On. What are your thoughts on the novel? Or what are your thoughts on fantasy series and novels in general that end with this sort of cliched happy ending? Like, we're all expecting a happy ending when we read a fantasy series. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye!